Welcome to Exploring Orthodoxy. I'm Elli, and a warm welcome to our guest speaker, Savvas, Geronda Savvas Lavriotis, who's joined us today for the spiritual discussion. Hi, Geronda.
Hi.
Now, for those who are new to the program, Geronda Savvas dedicated 20 years of his life residing at the Megisti Lavra Monastery on Mount Athos, and now he's a public speaker on a variety of Orthodox topics, and he shares his valuable insights and his learnings with people across the globe. Did you want to add anything there, Geronda, as your introduction?
We are doing fighting against the heresies of ecumenism, and this is why we are not in Mount Athos now, because of these heresies, and because we can't compromise our Orthodox faith and dogmas with the heretics. That's why we are persecuted, and that's why we are traveling globally to inform people, and because also people invite us in everywhere to inform them and to give the knowledge that we have about the Orthodoxy, about the Orthodox faith, about the globalization and the heresies of the ecumenism that today is inside the church, and it's making a horrible disaster inside there. That's why also we are doing these travelings.
Yes, and it's definitely a big topic at the moment. I get emails from, I think I'm subscribed to some research organisation, and every day or two I get new papers have been written on the topic of ecumenism. So it's a very hot topic there. I think it's only good if everyone's converting to Orthodoxy. That's the only time ecumenism works. But that's probably for another topic.
We have to, this is a topic that needs a lot of conversations to cover all these topics. But
that's right. That's right. So anyway, so today we're actually going to explore some more verses from the Bible, this time the book of Mark. And Geronda Savvas, he's going to share his insights on the verses, because he's actually studied the Bible well and he knows the writings of the Holy Fathers. So he'll be telling us more details. Now, St. Mark, he's an important figure in the New Testament, and he's acknowledged as one of the four evangelists alongside Matthew, Luke, and John. He authored the Gospel of Mark. And this particular gospel concentrates on the actions and miracles of Jesus. And let's see what else we can say there. And he's also believed to have established the church in Alexandria in Egypt. Is that correct, Geronda?
Yes. And also he was a disciple of Apostle Peter. So the Evangelium of Marcos, we can say that it's the Holy Father says that it was written by actually by Peter, because the knowledge that he's exposed here is the knowledge of Peter more, Apostle Peter.
Okay. All right, so we'll go straight into the Bible chapter. So chapter 2 from verse 18. So I'll let you sort of find that section first. So Mark chapter 2 verse 18, and also for the listeners, if they've got their Bibles out, we can read through these together. The section we're going to look at is a question about fasting. So in Mark 2 verse 18, the disciples of John and of the Pharisees were fasting. Then they came and said to him, "Why do the disciples of John and of the Pharisees fast, but your disciples do not fast?" And then next verse, and Jesus said to them, can the friends of the bridegroom fast while the bridegroom is with them? As long as they have the bridegroom with them, they cannot fast. But the days will come when the bridegroom will be taken away from them, and then they will fast in those days. No one sews a piece of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, or else... Are you right there, Geronda? I think your camera dropped. We'll just, let's see, is it going to flip round? I think maybe you'll sort your camera there. So I'll just keep reading the last two verses. And no one sews a piece of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, or else the new piece pulls away from the old, and the tear is made worse. And no one puts new wine into old wineskins, or else the new wine bursts the wineskins, and the wine is spilled, and the wineskins are ruined. But new wine must be put into new wineskins. So I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit about what is happening there, and something about why the disciples did not need to fast here.
We have many things here to discuss. I will try to make it quickly because otherwise we will...
That's okay.
Okay, so now we see that the disciples of John the Baptist and the Pharisees, they was there, and they come to him and they say to him, why the disciple of John and the Pharisees are fasting, but your disciple are not. The Holy Fathers, what they've done, it was that they was digging inside the meanings of the Holy Gospel, and maybe we are reading the Bible just to read the Bible, but the Holy Fathers was finding meanings that we are not able to find it because we don't have the enlightenment of the Holy Spirit. So that's why when we reading the Bible, it's better to study the Bible and in the same time to read the explanations that the Holy Fathers gives in these chapters. John the Chrysostom, Nicodemus Lavriotis, and many other, Basil the Great, Gregorian the Theologian, and many other saints. So we see here what the Nicodemus Lavriotis says here, that the disciple of John the Baptist and the Pharisees, they was watching Jesus Christ and his disciples, not because they wanted to hear his teaching, but they wanted to find something to accuse him that he's not right, that he's an heretic, that he's false prophet, this. And this is what we are finding here, because before he was making miracles, he was teaching, but none of these they don't speak about, but they speak something that is personal, because the fasting is something personal. And how they found out about this, because they don't fast? Because if you know that someone is not fasting, you have to observe his life. So these people, the Pharisees and also the disciple of John, because in another chapter, Saint John the Chrysostom says that John the Prodrome, he was trying to push them, his disciple, towards Jesus, but his disciple of John the Prodrome was envy against Jesus Christ and his disciple, because most of the people was going away from John the Prodrome and they was going near to Jesus Christ. So because of this envy, because they was jealous, they was trying to accuse them and to find something to accuse them. So that's why now here we see that the disciple of John and the Pharisees accuse Jesus Christ why his disciples are not fasting. And this is something that they couldn't knew, because everybody, when he's eating alone inside his house, and nobody knows what we are eating. They don't eat publicly. But why they say this? Because they want to accuse him that he's not going according to the law of Moses. So because he's not execute the law of Moses, he's an heretic and he's a false prophet, and you don't have to hear him, hear us. That's why they attack him here. This is an attack that Jesus Christ received, one of the many attacks that he received from these people. And that's why Jesus Christ said, he speaks about about himself, because when he says, when the sons of the what is the word here in English? Can you help me, Elli?
The bridegroom, do you mean? But the days will come when the bridegroom will be taken away from them, and then they will fast in those days.
Yes, he speaks about himself, named him bridegroom, and he says that as long as I am here, they don't have to fast. They was fasting, of course, but here he means something else, because the fasting of the Pharisees and the Jews, it wasn't a good fasting. It was a false fast. Before this, in the Evangelium of Matthews, when Jesus Christ went to the desert, and we saw this, it's in the chapter 4, and in the second chapter 4.2, we see that this says that he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Why he mentioned 40 nights? Because the fasting of the Jews was only in the day. In the night they was eating and they was doing everything. So it's not a good fasting. It's not the right fasting that we have to do. And this is because Moses gave this law to the Jews, because the Jews wasn't ready to receive the perfection of the law of the gospel, the perfection, because they wasn't mature spiritually to receive what Jesus Christ gave after his coming. So that's why he speaks about the fasting, because this fasting that the Jews was doing, it was a Pharisaic, it was a false, it was they was pretending that there was fasting, because to fast is not only not to eat foods or to eat some specific foods that the law allows, but most important when you fast is to take care of your spiritual life, not to judge, not to be a proud person, to humiliate yourself, to love the other people, to give charities, to spread your money, and to do other things. And then the fasting is something that God is going to receive it and to welcome it. Otherwise, this fasting, as the prophet Ezekiel says, is a dirty in front of the eyes of Jesus Christ. So that's why here the disciple of John and Pharisees speaks about this, and Jesus Christ tried to correct them in a polite way. Jesus Christ he wasn't someone that he was going to insult you. He was, except that he's a God and he could do whatever he wants. He gives us here how we have to check people and how we have to confront people, always in a polite way. That's why he says, as long as I am here, they don't have to fast because now they have also joy. There was fasting, but not the fasting that Jesus Christ gave after he left through his disciples. So, and here he says to us how we have to fast. And when he says that there are coming days in chapter 2:20, that there are coming days that when the bridegroom is going away, they will fast in these days. This means that when he will crucified and he will resurrected, then they will start the Christians now. They will start the fasting, the real fasting, and the fasting that he is going to give, as we said, through his disciples. That's why in 21 says that about this piece of cloth, that you never put a piece of cloth in another old one, you know. And here means the Old Testament and the New Testament. This is the meaning of this chapter, because he meant here, Jesus Christ meant that no one, also in chapter 22 is the same, that no one put new wine in old
wine skins.
Water skins, yes, because new wine will blow away the water skins, the old water skins, you know. Why? This means about it's the two periods, the Old Testament and the New Testament. If Jesus Christ was giving this teaching to Jews, that they was following the Old Testament and all these laws, that Jesus Christ, of course, didn't cancel these laws, but he refilled these laws, you know. And that's why he says that the people that they are following these laws, it's very difficult to follow new orders, because they will think that they cancel the old one and they go to the new ones. But Jesus Christ didn't do this. He, as I said to you, he fulfilled all these old laws and push it to be perfect, not to cancel this. That's why he says here that you put new wine in a new water skins, meaning that the people that they will accept his teaching and the new orders that he will give through his gospels and through his disciples, they will have to be new people. They will have to baptize. They will have to be in the period of the grace, so they will receive the new teaching, because otherwise the people that they have the old water skins, they are not able to receive the new teaching that we have to put in new water skins.
Okay, very interesting. Thanks for that. All right, we're still in Mark chapter 2, and now verses from 23. And this is about the Sabbath. It says, "Now it happened that he went through the grain fields on the Sabbath, and as they went, his disciples began to pluck the heads of grain. And the Pharisees said to him, 'Look, why do they do what is not lawful on the Sabbath?' But he said to them, 'Have you never read what David did when he was in need and hungry, he and those with him, how he went into the house of God in the days of Abiathar, the high priest, and ate the showbread, which is not lawful to eat except for the priests, and also gave some to those who were with him? And he said to them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. Therefore, the Son of Man is also Lord of the Sabbath.'" Could you tell us about those verses? What is the Sabbath? When is the Sabbath? What does it mean that the Sabbath was made for man?
No, the day of the Sabbath was the seventh day of the week that God gave the order to people in this day they will rest, they will not work, and in the law of Moses they have some instructions. How can I say it? Some that they have to follow what they can do, what they can't do in the day of the Sabbath. So that's why in this day there was forbidden to do works, and one of they consider what the disciple of Jesus Christ done, that they took seeds from wheat and start to eat. They consider this that this is something that they are canceling the day of Sabbath, and they do something that is forbidden. And in Greek, when we say you are a Pharisee, we mean that you are someone that you are a deceiver, that you say something but you do something else. That's why here, because the Jews, they didn't want to see why Jesus Christ gave these laws through Moses, to correct them and to make them able to pray in this day without having distractions from their works, from the people. So they will dedicate this day without distractions to Jesus, to God, and to pray without distractions. But they wasn't wasn't able to understand why God gave them these rules, and they was looking only at what they have to do, not that what have to do, they have to do it because they have to pray. It's like they was seeing a tree and they was losing the forest, we say. That's why he says, Jesus Christ tried to correct them. And they say to them that don't see the letter of the law, but go to the soul of the law. And that's why he says, you didn't saw that when David was hungry and was persecuted from Saul, he went inside the God of the house of God, and they ate the breads that they was forbidden to eat. Only the priest was able to eat these breads, and God didn't. He wasn't angry, but he allowed this, meaning that these laws are made by God to show us not to do some things, but to go beyond these things and to find God through prayer. That's why it's not bad to eat something in Sabbath, but it's bad to judge someone, or it's bad not to pray, or it's bad to have mean inside, to be mean inside your heart. And this was his teaching, Jesus Christ, because as I said to you before, the Jews was misunderstood the laws, and they was trying to keep the laws, but not to keep the laws because they had to pray and because they had to cleanse themselves and to be pure people. That's why he said here, the Sabbath is made for the men and not the men for the Sabbath. This is why Jesus Christ speaks about this, and says in the end that the Son of Man, meaning him, is the Lord of the Sabbath, and meaning that when we do fasting, when we do the laws, when we try to fulfill whatever Jesus Christ says, is because we have to go beyond this, because we have to be reconnected with him, meaning that all these things are tools, the fasting, to be good with people, to not to judge, they are tools that leads us to the connection with Jesus Christ, that this is what we have to do in our spiritual life.
Okay, and I think, because so basically the Sabbath was a no working day, unless there is something you're doing that's good. Like if you have to go feed some animals that are starving, then that's, even though that's work, it's something good to do. It's a good service.
And also, they was able to walk a Saturday distance that it was about 1.5 kilometers. They didn't have to go more. But as I said to you before, all these things was happening because Jesus Christ tried to make them to pray in this day without thinking all the other things, so they will understand how precious is the praying, and how precious is to stay in your house, to clean yourself and your thoughts from everything, and just to be dedicated in praying and speaking with Jesus, with God.
Yeah, and when you're doing good works, that's always fine to do. There's no law against doing good works. All right. Yep. So we'll go to Mark chapter 3, verse 22. So chapter 3, 22, it says, "And the scribes who came down from Jerusalem said, 'He has Beelzebub, and by the ruler of the demons he casts out demons.' So he called them to himself and said to them in parables, 'How can Satan cast out Satan? If a kingdom is divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan has risen up against himself and is divided, he cannot stand, but has an end. No one can enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods unless he first binds the strong man, and then he will plunder his house.'" Could you tell us what's happening there, Geronda?
Now we see another part of people that they are with Pharisees, that they come from Jerusalem. And these people was also a part of the system, we can say, of the priest and the high priests. And these people knew, they named this way because they knew the law of Moses, and there was we can say in a way, there was the theologians of this time. And that's why these people was from Jerusalem, meaning that there was the high-level theologians, and they knew very good the scriptures, and they are coming from Jerusalem saying that Jesus Christ is expelling the demons with the power of the Beelzebul, of the leader of the demons. This means that they was accusing Jesus Christ that he was part of the demons, and he was a demonized person, and he was an evil person, that he was trying to seduce people to make them believe that he's a good person, but he's a bad person, because whatever he's doing with the power of the devil. So you see that our Lord was accused by them that he was a false prophet, that he was a demonized person, that he was a disciple of the demon, of the devil, that he was an unmoral person, and many things. So first of all, here is something, it's a great teaching for us, that when we are persecuted and when we are accused false things, it must be an honor for us, because we are walking the road that Jesus Christ says us to walk. So it's not a bad thing to accuse us in the name of Jesus Christ, but it's a blessing for us. The second one is that they was trying through this, as we read before in the second chapter, they was trying to find something to accuse him and to cancel his teaching, because they couldn't find something wrong for what he was saying, and they was trying to find something not in his sayings but in his life. That's why they accuse his disciples, that they aren't fasting, they don't do this, they don't do that. That's why they was accusing his actions, that these actions that he was doing, the miracles, is not by God, but by the devil. And here again, Jesus Christ, he's inviting them, and he says, he's trying to teach them in a polite way again, because he don't want to judge them, but he want to correct them. You know, he wanted he want our salvation. He don't want us to die spiritually. Even if we are against Jesus Christ, we see that Jesus Christ is not against us, because he's our Father, he's our everything, and he's our God, and God don't have something bad inside him. He wants our salvation. That's why in this way he is trying to teach them and to correct them. And what he says that if a kingdom is splitting, then this kingdom is going to be end. It's going to be how can I say? It's going to have an end. This kingdom. And also, if a house split, then this house, this family is not able to be united, and they will it will be a disaster for this. They will spread. That's why he says, if Satan throws his disciple from the people, his kingdom is finished. He's not able to have power and to increase his power. And he's trying to explain now here that if he was doing this, he was throwing the demons from the people, that it was demonized, that was possessed, then it's not making sense if he's with the demon, because otherwise his kingdom is going to split, and the demons don't want this. They want to be powerful, not powerless. And that's why this is not valid, what they say. And also in the chapter 3:27 says about that nobody can take all these matters from a power man inside his house, but first he have to go to
bind the strong man.
And then to steal from the strong man. And this means that he couldn't release the Satan from the possessed people if he couldn't first win the Satan. And this is something that they had to understand, that because he was able to throw the demons from the possessed people, that he had the power to do it. And he won the devil when he was in the desert, also not as God, because as God, his power, he's the Almighty, but as a person he won the devil. And that's why also as a person, as a human being, Jesus Christ was able to throw away all these demons from the possessed people.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe, a strong man, for example, is someone, say, with Christian faith. But if someone holds on to their faith, follows the commandments, they're in a very strong position. But if suddenly they lapse and they start breaking commandments or something, they're really allowing evil to come in, where, let's say, the demons, they will start to bind the strong man and take over and then plunder our house.
And also here, because it's something very important to say, because many people don't understand how important it is that Jesus Christ, the God, became a man and a human being, a perfect human being, like we are, except the sin. Because he defeated the Satan, not as God, because as I said to you before, God is powerful. He don't need to make a war with Satan, but he defeated Satan by his human nature. That this gives us also the authority over the Satan to, as you said before, if we are correct, if we are doing all these things that Jesus Christ said, and we are people of virtue, we will have power against the devil and evil, and we will be able to do exactly what Jesus Christ done in his life.
Okay, very good. All right, let's go to Mark chapter 4, verse 1. The parable of the sower. And again he began to teach by the sea, and a great multitude was gathered to him, so that he got into a boat and sat in it on the sea, and the whole multitude was on the land facing the sea. Then he taught them many things by parables, and said to them in his teaching, Listen, behold, a sower went out to sow. And it happened as he sowed that some seed fell by the wayside, and the birds of the air came and devoured it. Some fell on stony ground, where it did not have much earth, and immediately it sprang up, because it had no depth of the earth. But when the sun was up and it was scorched, and because it had no root in it, it withered away. And some seed fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no crop. But other seed fell on good ground and yielded a crop that sprang up, increased and produced, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. And he said to them, He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Over to you.
Now, let's see something that in the beginning we see that the crowds, the people, wanted to be near him, and because Jesus Christ is Jesus Christ, and everybody, their souls was feeling the energy and the kindness that this person had, and they was around him, and they wanted to be with him all the time. That, of course, they persecute him and they crucified him. This is another story. But we see that the soul of the people want to be with them. That's why there was a lot of people around him, and that's why he went in the sea in a boat, that he will be able to teach them without pushing him and pressing him. And we have to see these icons, and we have to bring these icons in our mind, in our eyes, in front of our eyes, because it will help us to understand more the gospel. That's why he went inside the boat, and because many people didn't allow him to teach without pressing, as I said to you before. Now, he was teaching them by parables. Why he was teaching them by parables? Because most of the people wasn't able to accept the truth, and because they wasn't going to take this truth, to embrace this truth, and to put it in action in their lives. That's why Jesus Christ, because he didn't want to give this teaching ready, to people, and just to give this teaching also to people that they wasn't clean to accept the teaching, his teaching. That's why he's teaching by parables. Also because if someone had a pure heart, a clear heart, he was going to Jesus Christ and ask him to explain what he meant by this, because Jesus Christ was open to everybody. He was accepting everybody. He wasn't someone like the Pope or like the bishops that you have to make an appointment to see them. Nothing to do with this. He was open, and his mission was to teach people and to give his life to people. So whenever someone went to him and say explain the parable, he was explaining the parable, but nobody wanted to hear what is behind this parable. And that's why he speaks about this parable, about these birds, about the person that he's spreading the seeds to the fields, and that he was trying to make them realize that there are 4 types of people. The first type of people is the first type of people is that he is listening the word of Jesus, the word of God, but he is not take it under consideration. He don't cares about it, and that's why, because he don't care about this, the devil comes and close his ears and take away the words of Jesus, so they will not believe, and that's why they will lose their souls. The second type of people, he's making an icon that the person that he's throwing the seeds to the fields, he's throwing these seeds to a rocky field, and this rocky field is represent as a person that he's accepting the words of Jesus Christ, the teaching of God, but because it's rocky, because it's a lot of rocks, but not a lot of soil, that the soil is that he's a good soul, means that he's open to this teaching. He's accepting he's accepting first the teaching because he's hearing, and but because he's rocky, because he's not, how can we say, he's not spiritually growing. That's why he is not able to go to the end, just hearing and accept some things. And this is the second type of persons. The third type of persons give us here an icon that is the field, that he have soil, but also have other things inside there that is not give place and room and air to the seed to grow. And these persons are the persons that they are in their lives. They have many things to do. They have a good willing to do it. They have a good soul, but they took under consideration many things, and they are not devoted to the gospel, to the orders of Jesus Christ, and their minds goes to other things, to things that don't give place and room to the orders of Jesus Christ to plant. And that's why all these things that they are around them, these things of the world, that the rich, the wealth, and all these things that people are surrounded, and they want to distract them from all these things of the gospel. They don't care about the gospel anymore, and they focus to the things of the world. That's why they leave the Jesus Christ orders, and they focus to the orders of the Satan. And this is the third type of people. The fourth type of people is the people that they are hearing the preaching of God, and they don't care about anymore about the other things. They start to be devoted to the gospel and to the preaching of God and to the orders of God. They are following whatever he's saying to do, and they are become spiritual persons, and they become disciples of God. And these persons, this fourth group, is also divided in three. There are the people that they are able to do more than more, and there are people that are able to do the 100% of Jesus Christ. That John the Chrysostom says that these people are the monks, that they leave everything aside, they dedicate themselves 100% to Jesus Christ, and they follow the gospel whatever it's happening. And of course, we have to say that this is a mystery that he says these parables. And if someone is a rocky person, is not that he's not able to succeed his salvation. He has to throw out the rocky things that he have inside his heart. That maybe this is maybe he's attached to wealth or to other people, or he's a proud person, or he's a thief. This is the rocky things that he have to throw away from his life. So he will be a good person. He will be ready to receive the teaching of Jesus Christ, to become a mature person spiritually, and to save his soul. Jesus Christ does not say these things because he wants us not to be saved, but he wants us to see in what category we are, and that we have to work with ourselves to succeed the salvation.
Okay, and then just to remind the listeners, this parable was called the parable of the sower in Mark. And a little bit further down, there's another parable called the parable of the seed growing in Mark, still chapter 4, but verse 26 now. And he said, it's a second parable. And he said, the kingdom of God is as if a man should scatter seed on the ground and should sleep by night and rise by day, and the seed should sprout and grow. He himself does not know how, for the earth yields crops by itself, first the blade, then the head, and after that the full grain in the head. But when the grain ripens, immediately he puts in the sickle, because the harvest has come.
What about it?
So it's interesting because this second parable that Mark's talking about he's actually describing the kingdom of God. Do you think?
Yes.
So how do you interpret this? Because this is listed as a second parable.
How we interpret it? Okay. So here, Jesus Christ says that the kingdom of God is like if. Okay. So what does this mean? It's
actually,
very nice.
Geronda, I've just seen something. Maybe this helps us. It says that this parable describes the mysterious process of growth in the kingdom of God, illustrating that it operates independently of human effort.
This all what Jesus Christ says here is how the person will become, how a person will become ready to go to live this life, this temporary life, and to go in front of Jesus Christ and to be saved, and to become a saint. You know, this parable explains us the raising of the Christian life, the raising how a person grows spiritually and become perfect in the eyes of God. So God will take him when he is ready, and he will put him in the paradise, in his kingdom of heaven. That's why he says that the kingdom of heaven is like if a person put a seed in the earth, because this seed, it's like the previous parable that a person throw the seeds to the fields, and this seed is the word of God. That Jesus Christ always give the word of God, his word, to everybody, not to me and to you, to everybody. But not everybody is going to put this seed and to plant it in his heart, and this seed will raise and grow and happen all these things that he says below. That's why he says here that the earth automatically do these things. It's not automatically, it's automatically, but we have to do this procedure, this spiritual procedure, because God is going to put the plant, to plant the seed inside our heart, but then we have to work. And to plant a seed is to be baptized. When we are baptized and when we put ourselves in the army of God and we become Christians, then we start to work spiritually, and we start to grow the plants and the seeds that Jesus Christ gave us. And when we will be ready, and when Jesus Christ sees that we are ready and we are spiritually ready to go from this earth, then he is taking us to put us inside paradise.
Okay, and that, as you said, it really leads up to what they call the parable of the mustard seed, which is just a few verses later in Mark 4, say verse 31. It is like a mustard seed, which when it is sown on the ground is smaller than all the seeds on the earth, but when it is sown, it grows up and becomes greater than all the herbs and shoots out large branches, so that the birds of the air may nest under its shade. Let's see. Yeah, anyway. All right. I thought we'd go to Mark chapter 9, verse 2. And this is the Transfiguration. It says, "Now after 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up a high mountain apart by themselves, and he was transfigured before them. His clothes became shining, exceedingly white, like snow, such as no launderer on earth can whiten them. And Elijah appeared to them with Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. Then Peter answered and said to Jesus, 'Rabbi, it is good for us to be here, and let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah.' Because he did not know what to say, for they were greatly afraid. And a cloud came and overshadowed them, and a voice came out of the cloud saying, 'This is my beloved Son, hear him.' Suddenly, when they had looked around, they saw no one anymore, but only Jesus with themselves." Now, with this section, I was thinking, in terms of what you've read with the church fathers or other writings there, Geronda, what do they say what was the discussion that took place between Elijah, Moses, and Jesus?
John the Chrysostom says us that they were speaking about what is going to happen with his crucifixion, because this incident happened before Jesus Christ, some days before Jesus Christ was going to go through through the passion, his passion. And because, of course, the Transfiguration, we celebrate the celebration of Transfiguration in 6th of August. But we put it there because we didn't want to put it before Easter, because we are in a fasting period. That's why we put it in 6th of August. So we will put it in another fasting, of course, but because it's a great celebration. Now, what they was speaking, Elijah and Moses, was this: what is going to happen to him? And someone can ask, and Jesus Christ don't know. He's a God. He knows everything. You know, they are speaking to him not as a God, but as a human person, because as a human person, he wanted to be encouraged by these people, and he wanted to show also to the other. It's not only that he was speaking with Moses and with Elijah. He wanted to teach to their students, to his disciples, many things. So if we study and if we read what we are chanting in this day, 6th of August, we will see that he's taking. First of all, he's taking 3 of them of his disciples. Why he didn't took all the disciples and he's taking the 3 of his disciples? John the Chrysostom says that he didn't took all the disciples because he didn't want to reveal himself to Judas, because Judas was the traitor. He already decided in his mind to betray Jesus Christ, and he was not worthy to go through this revelation that Jesus Christ done to his disciples. And because Jesus Christ didn't want to insult him and to reveal him that he's the traitor, that's why he left the other students, and he took only the 3 disciples that there was also spiritually higher than the others. The second one is that Elijah and Moses, they are the biggest prophets, except the proton, John the Baptist. They are the biggest prophets of the Old Testament, the area of the Old Testament. Elijah is not dead. He's still alive. We are expecting him to reveal the Antichrist. Moses is dead. So the Holy Father says that by this, Jesus Christ wanted to show us that he is the master of the dead people and also of the alive people, that he's rule everything, you know. That's why he represent these 2 prophets to his disciple, to make them understand who he is, to reveal himself. That's why this transfiguration, this transforming that he's done, it's what he was and what he is, but the disciples are not able to see the nature of the goddess, of the God, you know. That's why he became in light, and he's revealing himself, what he is, to his disciples. And that's why he said to them, don't say this before my crucifixion, but after I will be resurrected, you can say what happened.
Okay, very good. Now, Mark chapter 11, verse 12, Jesus curses the fig tree. Now, the next day, when they had come out from Bethany, it was
What's up there?
Mark chapter 11, verse 12. When Jesus curses the fig tree. So now the next day, when they had come out from Bethany, he was hungry, and seeing from afar a fig tree having leaves, he went to see if perhaps he would find something on it. When he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. In response, Jesus said to it, "Let no one eat fruit from you ever again." And his disciples heard it. So why is Jesus cursing the fig tree when it was not the season for figs?
here we have 4 reasons that he is cursing the fig. Holy Fathers, again, they are revealing us the meaning of this chapter. So, Jesus Christ is coming and he sees a fig tree from far away that have leaves and not seed. And this is something very normal because it wasn't the time of the figs, you know. And then he says, nobody from you in the century that nobody will eat something from it. The fig is representing 4 things. First of all, represent the Jews that when Jesus Christ came as a human person, he didn't find holiness. He didn't find people that in the majority. Okay, he didn't find these people, the Jews, to how can I say, to fulfill his orders and to go along the Old Testament. And that's why they didn't accept Jesus Christ, because they didn't knew what the scriptures, the Holy Scriptures, were saying about him. And that's why they betrayed him. And that's why they are the cursed people now, because Jesus Christ didn't found the virtue among these people, and that's why they lost the grace, the Jew people, and the grace went to the Orthodox, to the Christians. This is the first explanation. The second explanation is that the fig tree represents every one of us, that when Jesus Christ comes to take us and to when we die, okay, and we go in front of him, then we will show him what we've done in our lives. And if we have only leaves and not seed, it means that if we have only some things that we've done that is not important, but we didn't work on the virtue of the gospel and to be good Christians, then we will be doomed and we will be cursed. The third thing is because Jesus Christ, he was doing only good things. This is the third explanation. He was doing only good things. He was raising the dead, making the ill people to be cured, and helping people. But he never saw us when he was as a human person before his resurrection. He didn't show to people that he can punish also, that he is a punisher. That's why, because he didn't want to give punishing to people and to punish someone, he's showing us his punishing power, and through this fig tree that, I will punish. I didn't came here to punish you, but eventually I will be the punisher. I will give to everybody what deserve. And that's why, because he didn't want to show his power on a person, he shows this power, he's putting this power on a tree. The fourth explanation in this is that the fig tree was the tree that the Adam and Eve took the seed. It's not the apple, because many people and most of the drawers that or the images that they show people is that Adam and Eve, they ate the apple, and the snake, the devil, showed them the apple tree, and they took this tree. But this is not correct. The Holy Father says that from the tree that they took the forbidden seed, it was the fig, because the fig is very nice to see. is very tasty, very sweet, but when you take it, the milky thing that you have inside, outside, it makes you scratching. And this means that the sin is very sweet, but after you do it, it's scratching your soul, you know? And that's why also we see Adam and Eve that they cover themselves with leaves of figs, you know? So that's why he is going to this fig tree, that he is punishing by this way, not the tree, because the tree is, it's a tree, you can't punish a tree. He is punishing what the devil done to the to Adam and Eve, and of course to all people, and he's trying by this cursing that he's saying to this tree to correct all these false direction that the people took, and to put them in the right direction of the salvation. And that's why Jesus Christ came here to crucify him, to go through this path, to go through this crucifixion, to resurrect through the resurrection, and so by this by his passion to give us again the eternity and the chance to become God as we have to do.
Well, it's interesting how you drew that parallel, that the fig tree is really a symbol of the Garden of Eden, in that the fruit that they ate was a fig. So Jesus really sort of cursed this tree as a symbol and a reminder of what happened in the Garden of Eden, because people would walk past this tree, you know, and they saw it would never produce fruit. So it was left as a symbol. That's interesting.
Yes.
Now, Mark, we've only looked at, you know, a number of verses, but just for the listeners, Mark really covers a lot of teachings. There's a lot of information there, and the best way to do it is to actually read the Bible in your time. And I do have the audio Bible of Mark available now if anyone wants to listen to the Bible. But a friend of mine, she has insomnia, and she said she listened to it, but she fell asleep. So, you know, you have to search for a good audio Bible to really get the better effect. Mine doesn't have any theatrics. There's no music or anything to keep anyone awake. So anyway, so thanks, Geronda, for helping us out with the Book of Mark. And yeah, the best thing is for the listeners to read the whole chapter. We've only touched on a few things. There's the whole, you know, Mark covers the end times, which is the abomination of desolation. You know, there's the coming of the Son of Man in the heavens, and when Jesus appears to Mary Magdalene. So it's a full story there, a full historical event that he covers. Now, Geronda, anything else you want to say to conclude our talk now?
I just want to thank you also, because you give us the opportunity to speak about some things about Jesus Christ and about the gospel in English, and also that what you do, that people are able to listen the Bible in English, New Testament, is very, very important. And I think you have to continue this work that you do, because many people will be helped by this, because the most important thing in our life is to meet Jesus, to make a contact with through this Holy Bible that we have. And unfortunately, some people are not able to read, so they are able to hear in their work and whatever they do. So it's very important, and you have to continue this.
Yeah, and some people, they're in hospitals or they're in rehab places, and it's very easy to listen to an audio Bible, you know, than have to read it sometimes. But one thing I've felt, I've been really surprised about, is that each chapter, if you just concentrate on one chapter at a time, you'll be reading the whole Bible in no time. It's actually, it doesn't take that long to read it, the New Testament. And I'm really surprised about that.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, Geronda, and God bless to everyone.
Bless you all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, bye for now.